What's up? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was really bad, but what's up, Sha? So during the week, we received a question from one of you guys asking sort of like what is too much to share when you just meet someone, what is too much to share as the relationship progresses. And from a lot of the comments that we got and the conversation that we got going and all of that, it sort of like became evident to us that this is actually a question that a lot of people want answers to.
Yep.
Okay. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's a really valid question because everybody has a past. If you don't have a past, maybe your family has a past, or there are things, there are skeletons in the closet, and you're wondering, if I tell this person, is my gist going to be out there? If I tell this person, is the person going to run? Is they going to chase the person away? That sort of thing. And you know, the problem with this sort of situation is that you're busy asking yourself like, okay, am I sharing the right information at the wrong time? Or am I sharing the right information with the wrong person?
Yeah,
Those
it's
sort of
like wearing winter jackets in the summer, you know.
Anyways, in this video, we're going to give you 3 conversation boundaries that should sort of like help you share as your relationship progresses.
Absolutely. So see you guys in a bit. All right, so welcome. We're before marriage. My name is Muyiwa, and this is OG. And we're before marriage, and our mission is to make marriages cool again. Because I know a lot of you are asking the questions, you know, can my marriage work? Is there that right person for me that I can connect with, someone that I can trust, someone that our purposes align? And I don't want to make a mistake choosing my partner that I'm going to go on this journey with. And, you know, it's a very valid question because, I mean, we were in that situation as well. At some point, there was the point where I didn't actually believe I was ever going to get married because of the kind of examples that we were seeing outside. And one of the things that we came to realize was that there were a lot of broken single people who were getting married. And with broken single people coming together, what they're going to produce is broken marriages. And we found that a lot of people were building on the wrong foundations. They were building their marriages based on opinions and not principles. So that is why we created this platform, because we want to help single Christians like you guys become the right people for marriage by showing you what successful marriages look like when done God's way. So if this sounds like something that you'd love to follow and just, you know, watch, please subscribe, like the video, and also join our mailing list as well to get first dibs on updates on this platform. So yeah, we're going to be going right into the topic for today. So how much of your secrets should you share while dating?
Okay, this is actually one of my favorite topics to discuss because I actually like discussing sort of like boundaries that you erect around your relationships. And the scripture that comes to mind with regards to this is, everybody knows it: guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life. But the thing is,
hey, see that breakdowns, man, my goodness.
Yeah. So a boundary is sort of like a guideline, rules, or limits that you create to identify a reasonable, safe, and permissible way to interact with somebody else.
Jesus, what kind of definition are you writing an exam?
That's what a boundary is. I'm sorry.
A boundary is like, let's just give them an illustration.
Calm down. Okay, fine. Illustration. Okay, now think like you live in a gated community, for example. So like you're living an estate and there's like a main gate before anybody even gets to your compound or your house or whatever.
Okay.
So we're going to use that illustration to illustrate what we mean by boundaries. So imagine there's like a main gate where someone has to call and let you know, okay, fine, there's somebody.
They find you, something like that. Yeah.
Exactly. And then the person progresses to the main gate of your compound before they even get.
Madam, they don't come.
Before they even get into your house. So since my definition of boundaries was too textbook,
when they get to your door, well, yeah.
Anyways, as in a few points that I just want to mention before we proceed is that, first of all, a boundary is supposed to keep you safe. I know a lot of people think boundaries and they think, you just want to prevent me from enjoying myself and all of that. Now, boundaries are supposed to keep you, your heart, your possessions, what you value most, safe. And well, in this situation, I guess it's your deepest, darkest secrets and your reputation and all of that. Another thing that I want to mention is boundaries should be created before the relationship, not as a response to it. Because I've seen a lot of babes, you create your boundaries, you now see a guy that you like, you now start modifying the boundaries to suit him so that, you can grant him access. Meanwhile, the boundaries are supposed to keep you safe. You've now gone to go and customize it and you've let a dodgy person into your life. So bear those things in mind as we proceed.
Right. So the number one gate where they're like, madam, someone is looking for you is gate 1. And this is, we like to call this the friendship stage. So when you meet this guy, because there are a lot of people at this stage, you just met somebody, you're thinking, is this the time to share 1 or 2 secrets? Or is this the time to ask, where are we going? You just met this person and you're a bit confused, like, what are we supposed to be talking about here? And it's a valid one because a lot of people don't want to waste their time. A lot of you guys have met guys who, you start talking to and then later on you realize that these guys were just time wasters. You don't want to waste your time. You want to know right now. So you believe that this is the time to actually share a bit of yourself and a bit of your secret so that you can tell if this guy is waiting or he is going. And, one of those reasons as well is you don't want to share and somebody is judging you for what you're sharing. So I'm sure in this stage you're wondering, what am I supposed to tell and what are the things I was supposed to share at this stage when I just meet the person?
Yeah. So what you need to remember is that this is the friendship stage, right? This is the stage that you're just getting to know each other. You're learning how to communicate. You're just learning little things about the other person. Really, this is the stage that you're at before strong feelings develop, because we all know that once feelings enter this thing, it begins to cloud your judgments, begins to cloud your ability to hear clearly from God, and all that. And I find at this stage, what is on a lot of people's minds is that, am I sharing with the wrong person, or am I sharing too quickly with the right person? That sort of thing. And at this stage, a lot of ladies, I'm a lady, so I'm talking from experience as well, that this is when you allow your imaginations to sort of like run wild. So in your head, you're already building, you already know where you guys are going to live, your children and all that. So you just want to open up and all of that. This isn't the time to be talking about your body count and...
I think that one, like, I remember back in the day, this was very close when I gave my life to Christ. Like, I was talking to this girl, and within like the first few weeks, and every guy always wants to ask, don't answer this question during this phase, because what they're doing, they're trying to fast track the process as well. So I asked her, what's your body count? How many people have you slept with? And she was like 11. In my mind, I was like, huh? But on the phone, I was like, oh, for real? Like, that's not bad. But in my mind, I was thinking, I'm just going to be number 12 and just call this thing a day, So at this stage, and it's funny because later on, I began to sort of like this girl's personality and all that. But because of what she had shared, I just thought, this is not the one for me. So at this stage is not when you should be sharing those kinds of details. Every guy will ask, well, you tell them, what's your business? We're just friends. We're getting to know each other. If you want to know, you have to pass certain gates. And this is why I love the Bible. Like, everybody thinks that this is an old book, but guess what? It has everything that you need in there. So guess what? If you read Mark 4, you see that Jesus Christ spoke in parables to the crowd. And there was a reason why he spoke in parables. At this stage, what you should be communicating in is parables. If you have some deep, dark secrets, it's not the time to be saying, I have done this. I've slept with 11 guys. And my family is Obanji, this one, that one, that one. You need to dilute the truth a bit, the way Jesus Christ is. So
nobody's saying you should lie.
Don't lie.
Nobody's saying lie. Dilute truth doesn't mean lie.
Mark 4 verse 11 says, he replied, you are permitted to understand the secret of the kingdom of God, but I use parables for everything I say to outsiders, so that the scriptures might be fulfilled. When they see what I do, they will learn nothing. So when you're telling them about what you've done, they will learn nothing if you use parables. When they hear what I say, they will not understand. Otherwise, they will turn and be forgiven. So in this stage, like we said, you need to, cover it up a bit. You need to start asking opinions. Hey, my friend did this. What do you think? Not me, but my friend. And this is where Instagram...
asking for a friend.
Exactly.
for a
My
friend.
friend was asking me something and, I wasn't sure. So what do you think about it? This way you are able to really understand how the guy really feels about it.
Yeah,
because
how his mind works.
Exactly. Because if you are come out to say this is me, he might have lied. But when you're illustrating it using other people is when you can get to, when you can get to reveal his true response to that situation. There are a lot of all these sort of questions on Instagram. I know my wife usually sends me a lot of these things during the week where, look at this question. What do you think? What do you think? Maybe this is the stage where you're doing that as well. There are some Instagram profiles where they have all these crazy stories that have happened. If your own
resembles that is similar to your own,
and then send it to the guy and be like, look at these crazy people, or look at what they are saying again. And then you get to understand how we think. So in this stage, you are not really revealing things about yourself personally, but you're using parables to dilute that truth to really understand how this guy feels about that situation.
So yeah, like we said, that is the stage where it's general information about yourself that is already publicly available that you really should be disclose. My English today, I'm hungry.
Right.
That you should really be disclosing and stuff, that you don't really get deeper or more intimate until you've built a foundation of commitment and trust.
Absolutely. So at this stage, there's still some of those wrong guys that might seep through, and that is why we have a second gate, because there are some guys who just know the right things to say, when to say it. I am not really sure. So that's why we have a second boundary, which is called the second gate. And this is when
you're getting your conviction. This is sort of like the courtship stage. Can I really trust this? So I know, you might be wondering, conviction, what is that? What does that mean? And all of that. Now, we believe that as Christians, for you to actually enter into a relationship with someone, into a courtship with someone, you must have heard from God first. Because at the end of the day, everything has a purpose. So God has given both of you, like he gave him, and then he approached me with his own conviction that God said. And so I now went off to God to go and confirm if, God, this guy came and he said that you said, did you really say, sort of thing. So that's so that's what the conviction is all about. Sort of like hearing from God and believing that, this is the direction in which God would like us to go, sort of thing.
Absolutely. So, at this stage, I'm sure a lot of you are asking, you want to be extra sure, because I'm sure you've met guys in the past where, they were saying one thing, but over time, what they did didn't match what they were saying. And then the relationship just sort of fell off. So at this stage, you want to be extra sure, am I willing to share the secret with this guy? He's saying the right things, but am I willing to share this much with this guy at this point? Because, as I've said before, there are guys who give different opinions for different things. For example, when I was in uni, I remember I was trying to see some good girl, and my guys were telling me, "Yeah, that babe is a Christian, man. She goes to church, don't go and destroy her life." And I was like, come on, she's a free moral agent, she can do whatever she wants to do. And they were like, if that was your sister, would you be saying the same thing? And I was like, maybe not. So there are some guys who know how to say, when it's concerning other people, they will be aggressively saying yes. When it comes to them, they will now say no. So at this stage is where you're trying to differentiate, is this guy really who he says he is?
At the end of the day, you need to realize that trust is at this stage of the relationship, trust is not given, is earned. So trust is based not only on what he's saying, but what you see him doing. Do his actions match up with the things that he has already told you? That is how you build
convictions aligned.
Exactly. That is how you build trust as the relationship progresses, because you need to understand that even with this conviction thing, not to scare you or anything, some people get it wrong. And the reason why they get it wrong is because, that's a conversation for another day, but this thing is that maybe they've allowed the things that he has been saying influence their hearts, or they've allowed emotions to seep in. So it's actually their heart that they are hearing from. So, which is why it is really, really important to watch his actions, watch him, not just what he says, because it is his actions that will actually help you build trust in that relationship. Because you shouldn't just sort of blindly go out and believe without evidence of that, of what he's saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is why even Jesus Christ had a second gate. He spoke to the crowds in parables, but the second gate were his 12 disciples. So by the time he had spoken the parables to the crowd, he explained the parables to the disciples, and this is the stage where you are beginning to drill down on the things that you have discussed at gate 1. So now you are beginning to ask questions like, or share things about your dreams, your values. These are the things that I've done. Maybe even your past relationship, how it went, and stuff like that. This is that time. And then you're not going to share your entire secret. You're going to be sharing it small. So 2% here, 5% there. Trying to grab or trying to understand how he processes information. Is he judging you based on what he's hearing? Because Jesus Christ had to teach his disciples. He was teaching them the parables that were giving them small. He didn't give them the entire truth. So at this point is where you're going to be releasing the truth bit by bit.
Very, very important, because like he said, it's really important to watch how he handles what you have already told him. Is he the sort of person that will now use the small 1% that you gave him, as in when you guys are fighting? That's when he will now go that you did this 5 years ago, you that you said you did this 10 years ago. So it is very, very important to watch how he handles the little that you have already given him.
Yeah, this is when I tested
Tested me with
tested you my past,
the guy told me his past. I just said, I was like, I forgive you, Brother Muiwa. The guy just fell in love. Was like, what? What?
Next gate.
So gate number 3, we call this the before engagement gate. So the idea is, can you endure truth? Like, when the reason why this is before engagement is because we strongly believe that at the point where you both agree that okay, yes, we have the conviction and all of that, that you agree that I'm going to marry this person, there shouldn't be any surprises, not any surprise that will just pop up and you're like, you deceived me into getting engaged to you, sort of thing. So that is why we feel like before engagement should be when
that's your door. So they've gotten from the estate gate to your gate. Now you're about to open.
Should I open my front door, the front door of my house?
Exactly.
Sort of
and here is when you are thinking, will this person accept me if they know the entire truth? Because is this conviction that we've gotten a genuine one? Because like she said, you need to be able to endure the truth. So at this stage is where you're asking yourself that question, like, will this person accept me unconditionally? Because anybody can accept you for the good side of that you show. But what about the bad side? What about when you're about to reveal that whole truth now? Because you're about to get married to this person, you cannot be keeping stuff on the side. You need to come out with everything. And so because they can still leave, to be honest. If you check John 6, I saw something there. John 6:53. Because when Jesus Christ mentioned, he said something, he gave them the truth, he tested them, and a lot of people deserted him for it. So look at this now. Verse 53 of John 6 says, verse 53 says, so Jesus said again, I tell you the truth, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you cannot have eternal life within you. But anyone who eats my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life. Everybody was like, what is it? He has gone kolo. And then if you see, verse 36 says, at this point, many of his disciples turned away and deserted him. And Jesus turned to the 12 and asked, are you also going to leave? And it's funny because Jesus Christ had a third gate as well. So there was a crowd, there were the 12 disciples, but he also had 3 disciples that he would share things that he wouldn't share with any other person. And if you check Matthew 17, verse 9, he says, because at the Mount of Transfiguration, where he met with Elijah and Moses, he had Peter, James, and John there with him. It says, as they walked back down the mountain, Jesus commanded them, don't tell anyone what you have seen until the Son of Man has been raised from the dead. Even when he went to raise the man whose daughter had died, I believe that is Luke 8, verse 51. It says, when they arrived at the house, Jesus wouldn't let anyone go in with him except Peter, John, and James. So there were these 3 people that Jesus Christ could share the truth with. So this is the stage where you are able to share the entire truth with the person. You must have gone through the outer gates, the your own gate, and then now at the door where you're now ready to share the truth?
Like he said, bear in mind, and it's not to scare you, because at the end of the day, God has given everyone free will and all of that. Like he said, people can still leave. But what is important here is that you need to ask yourself that, do you trust God or do you trust man? Because at the end of the day, if God has led you down a path, then whatever it is, he has also made provision for that path. And you really shouldn't allow fear to cause you to then begin to compromise just to keep the person, because you are probably thinking, oh my gosh, I've shared so many things with this person already. This little one, maybe I should just keep it to myself and not really say it, because this one is a lot. It might just scare the guy away and all of that. But at the end of the day, to what degree? Because if you keep it and then you get married and this person finds out at the end of the day, like, it's going to affect the trust in your marriage. And once that marital trust is affected, it really takes a lot to rebuild it
back.
And one of the reasons why we say keep those really, gang, deep and dark secrets for this stage is because most times time solidifies conviction. So early on, the person may have a conviction, but they may not really know you as well as they ought to. So they hear certain things about you and they haven't seen any evidence in your life that you are no longer this person. But when time passes and they see that you're a new person, they see the changes in you. When you say, oh, this is what I did, or this is what I experienced, or this is what happened 5, 10, 15.
Like what you shared with me. Hey, God.
But you still eat egusi soup in my hand now, Abby.
Hey.
Juju Bear, our special egusi soup.
She shared one this time. And normally, like, if she had shared it with me before I met Christ, like, I'd have been like, hey. But because we had gone through all the different gates, by the time she shared it with me, I was like, well, that was your past. This is who you are now.
I don't make that kind of egusi anymore.
What are you talking about, egusi? Is it egusi we're talking about? I'm trying to deceive people. It's not egusi. It was deep. But anyway.
Don't mind him, Joe. Anyways, so...
As we were talking, a verse came to my mind and I went to get and search for it. 1 John 2:19. If they leave, do not... I posted something on Instagram where the guy was thanking God that he had broken up, or that... Thank God for a successful breakup. Because... 1 John 2:19 says, these people left our churches, but they never really belonged with us. Otherwise, they would have stayed with us. When they left, it proved that they did not belong with us. So if they leave, it means that they were never really supposed to be there. This is not the time to start feeling sorry for yourself. And this is where a lot of people make mistakes as well, because once you've shared a lot of this secret to someone and then they are saying that they are no longer interested, you start to compromise because you want to keep that person so that you don't have to share this secret to somebody else. You've already been vulnerable once. You don't want to be vulnerable again in case that person rejects you. So this is where a lot of people compromise on their values. They start doing things like having sex and whatever, just to keep this person.
So I know a lot of people will be wondering, okay, fine. So what kind of stuff should I actually be sharing at this stage? I know a lot of people, they form memory loss that, I didn't really remember, or that's why I didn't tell you, sort of thing. But you remember. This thing happened 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, but it's still on your mind. Sister, brother, share it with this person. And also things that have the potential to affect your future together, your marriage, your children, your jobs, or whatever. These things are it's really, really important that you share these things before you make the commitment to get engaged. And I say engagement as in not even marriage, because that point of engagement, the person is saying that, yes, you people are saying that, yes, I have the conviction from God and I am willing to obey God in the entirety of this situation. And if you are, that also involves coming clean. That also involves not deceiving this other person, and withholding important information, withholding the truth is actually a form of deceit.
You can't handle the truth. Sorry. I feel good, man. All right. So yeah, we've come to the end of this one. We hope that this answered the question. It's amazing what you can find in the Bible, man. 3 boundaries for communication. Jesus Christ actually had it. Crowd, 12 disciples, 3 disciples. Let the Holy Spirit lead you on what exactly you need to be sharing at each stage. And would love to hear your comments. What did you think about these 3 boundaries? Did you actually, like, a lot of you read the Bible, like, did you see that connection? Would love to hear from you. Till next week, have a good one. Share some questions if you want them answered. Follow us on Instagram, subscribe, like, comment. Have a good week. Take care.